Hi, everyone. Welcome to the session, Identify and Release Your Hidden Barriers to Speak Powerfully and Be Heard. So today, it's a Saturday for me, but there is no better opportunity, no better time that I enjoy the most than sharing my knowledge. So I am very excited for the next 2 hours. And I hope that you are as excited as I am. So we are going to talk about, as we mentioned, that to find out what has been holding you back when you want to speak up, when you want to speak up with a powerful voice, and when you are not being heard. So that's what we're going to discover today. And of course, that there are so many barriers, and we will be picking 5 of them, 5 of the most common barriers to help you identify and also to talk about not only just identify, but how to release them as well. So that's what you're going to discover in the next 2 hours. So in the next 2 hours, we will be having some exercises because this is a workshop. So make sure that you have a pen and a piece of paper beside you so that when we are doing the exercises, you have something to write on. This workshop is going to be very different from the other ones that I do. The other ones that I do for public, because sometimes for my groups, group coaching, for my clients, here are some of the things that we talk about. For the public, this is the first time that we're doing a workshop that is not going to talk about voice projection techniques. So we're going to talk about what is behind your voice projection. And because it's very different, so we are also going to start off with a little bit difference. So wherever you are, I would like to have you sit comfortably. So sit comfortably, relaxed, and then we are going to do a little bit centering exercise. So if you are ready, you can adjust your seat, adjust your position. Okay. So if you are ready, then I would also invite you to close your eyes. So I'm going to do it with you. So I'd like to have you close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, observe how you're placing your feet. So now you're going to make sure your whole feet, the entire sole of your feet, are going to be supported by the ground, by the floor. Okay. And then adjust your position so that the chair is supporting your buttocks. Observe where your hands are and put it aside. So you're going to take a breath in slowly and then breathe out slowly. So now we're going to scan your body from the head to toe. So you can adjust your neck if you feel your neck is not relaxed, not flexible enough. So you can adjust your neck. So now we're going to use your inner eyes to observe your shoulders. Are they tense? If they're tense, you're going to lift up your shoulders and slowly relax. Observe your back, your upper back, your middle back, and your lower back. If there's tension, You can expand your back a little bit. Then we're going to scan your chest, whether it's relaxed. And your stomach, your belly. Your hands are at the side of your body. You can relax your hands by clenching them first and then release. And then we're going to observe, scan your buttocks and your thigh. See if they're relaxed. You can always tense them up first and then release. Then your lower legs and your feet. So now we're going to shift your attention to your breath. We're going to take a breath in and then breathe out. On your next breath out, we're going to make an ah sound like this. Okay, take a breath in and then now you're going to repeat a statement that comes to your mind. The statement could be, I am supported. I am relaxed. Or I am charged up. Once you feel relaxed, grounded, supported, then you can slowly open your eyes. Okay. So that is a centering exercise. You see that we didn't take too much time. It's probably about 2 to 3 minutes. So this is an exercise you can do. I would recommend you to do it every day on a daily basis. Could be in the morning before you start your work, because you realize, so you can type into the chat and let me know that after that centering exercise, how did you feel? Type into the chat. Okay. So a lot of my clients, when I was working with them, and once they've learned the proper voice projection techniques, and I realized that they're not really, some of them, they're not really using these techniques, or they are still holding themselves back in meetings, in presentations. So then I realized that there is something that's blocking them. And this something, this is the barriers, the inner barriers that are blocking them. It is also showing up in the voice. So you may have heard me say that voice reflects everything about you. So that's where I started to realize not only that they need to learn the skills on voice projection, but also they need to learn how to release the hidden barriers that have been running their lives. So that is also what inspired me to share with you this work. And this is not some technical work. This is something that when you're listening, maybe some of the things at the moment, it doesn't make sense to you. And that's the reason that I like to invite you to stay open. I like there's a saying that when you cannot see something, it doesn't mean it does not exist. When we breathe the air, we cannot see the air, but it doesn't mean that it is not existing. It is existing, very much so. Or when you cannot understand something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense. So stay open for the next almost 2 hours, and then see that what resonates with you, what rings a bell, what will require you to become more conscious, to be aware. In order to identify and release those hidden barriers, you must be open and be aware. And then the next question I always get from my clients, they'll be asking, oh, does that mean that once I'm aware, over time, these barriers, they will be gone? The answer is yes. Of course not. Over time, some people got worse. So if you don't do anything about it, it's going to get worse. It's not that time will heal anything. So for these barriers, mental, emotional barriers, we have to do some work. We have to do some practices to help you release them. So that's what we're going to do today. And a lot of clients, they came to me saying that I want to sound more confident. I want to sound more convincing. And I want to sound more charismatic. So these are the 3 C's they wanted the most: confident, convincing, charismatic. And the other situation that I have encountered was that when I tell them, oh, you can do this, you can use this technique, you can learn this skill, but in their heart, inside of them, they are resisting those techniques. So that's why skills, techniques alone cannot help you get a powerful voice. You must find the best way that works for you. And you must find what is it that you are resisting. So that's what we're going to find out. For example, this year, there were quite a few of them, of my clients. This is how they speak. And so I'm going to demonstrate to you how they speak. This is how they speak. When they're speaking, you see that it sounds very normal. You may have heard people speaking in this way, or you are someone who is speaking in this way a lot. But when you are seeing someone speaking in this way, what kind of impression do you get? So you can type into the chat and let me know that if someone is speaking to you in this way, what kind of impression do you get? Or as a teacher right now, I am speaking in this way. What is your impression? So let me know. Type into the chat and let me know. Okay, very good. Some of you just now from the centering practices, you feel more ready for the day, more centered, clear, relaxed, comfortable. Okay. So let's hear from you. If you hear someone speaking in the way that I demonstrated a minute ago, what kind of impression did you get? If someone is speaking in this way, low energy, timid. Okay, thank you, Raymond and Shannon, right? And anything else? Or you feel it's very convincing? Do I sound very convincing to you? Or, hi everyone, I am very excited to help you to identify and release your inner blocks. Hope that you'll be speaking as powerful as I am. Probably not, right? So the impression you get is low energy, is timid, not convincing, not confident, not certain. Thank you, Kendrick. Robot, not comfortable. Okay, so some of you, is there a delay in the internet? So now I get more responses. Okay, thank you, Nancy. Restricted, something is held back. Yes. So for clients who speak in this way, when I tell them, and then they realize, oh, I was never aware that I was speaking in that way. And as we discuss more, then we realize what is it that are holding them back. Because remember, the voice reflects everything about you. When I said that, most of the times, no one wants to talk to me anymore. That's fine with me. So, but you see that voice, the most important thing is you want to hear what does your voice reflect about you. What is it that you are holding back? So when I point it out, then we realize, for example, one salesperson, there's a client of mine, he's a salesperson, and this is how he speaks. He said, I want to sound more powerful, more convincing, so that they can buy the software that our company is selling. And he is presenting to all those C-suites. So if you are speaking in that way, presenting this to the C-suites, they are not going to, they probably won't even listen to you, listen for you to finish the first 5 sentences, because you are not confident, you're not convincing, you're not sure, certain at all. And so as I started to discuss more with him, then I realized, he said, I asked him, I said, because I sensed something's holding him back. So I asked him, I said, how do you want these people to see you? How do you want these people, these C-suites, see you? He said, I don't want them to see me as a salesperson. Aha. So then we got the answer. If you don't want them to see you as the salesperson, probably you have been thinking, oh, they're seeing me as a salesperson. And I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound I'm pushing them. I don't want to sound that I'm selling them something. You see, that is showing up in your voice. And all these things, they are not only these hidden barriers, they're not only showing up in the way you speak, they are showing up in every area of your life. They are showing up in every area of your life. So then you see that even in the session, he never spoke too much. When I asked him something, he will always say, yes, okay, got it, no question. So as we started to discuss more about the way that he was brought up, so I was already wondering that what his family environment was like. There must be a very strong impact from his family. So then as we started to discuss more, we realized that there was something that was holding him back. There was something that has been conditioning him to the way that he is today. So this is one example to let you know that voice reflects everything about you. And you want to, that's the reason you want to listen to yourself more. And also at the same time, if you really want to have the breakthrough, you cannot just learn the skills. You have to find out behind you are not speaking up, you are not speaking with a powerful voice. What is it? The mental, the emotional blocks that are holding you back. Even if you want to dash forward, you couldn't, because unconsciously there is this concern, this fear holding you back. The fear of, I don't want to let them know that I'm salesy, or I don't want them to know that I'm not perfect. I don't want them to know that I'm not competent. So there are so many barriers that I have identified in my clients. And today we're going to share 5 of them. So the very first one, the biggest, is I am not enough. I would like to have everyone mute yourself. So the very first one is, I am not good enough. So this has a lot of brothers and sisters as well. This I am not good enough. The brothers and sisters could be, you always feel that other people are better. You always feel that they are superior. Unconsciously, there is this inferiority. Unconsciously, there can be also this comparison. So when someone is holding this I am not good enough, this mental, emotional barrier, when this person goes into a meeting, goes into any situation, what do you think the behavior pattern would be like? The behavior pattern would be fear. Okay. So fear is the reason. Reserved, yes. Thank you, Alexandra. He won't express, yes. He won't express. When he goes in the meeting, the very first thing is he will be afraid that everyone is going to judge me. Everyone is going to judge me. There is an unconscious dominant thought that everyone is here to judge me, even though that you may not be aware. So that's one of the things. So of course that he won't express, reserved, hold back, defensive, yes. So one is that he wouldn't, he would be having the thought that everyone is here to judge me. And then when I have something to say, that I am going to hold back until I have to say it. So he'll be holding back. And if we are going to talk about work, he is going to just talk about work. He may not have other things to talk about. He is not transparent enough. Because being transparent means that they're going to see my flaws. If they're going to see my flaws, they're going to think that I'm not competent. Even though consciously I know I am competent. I have been reaching the level I am today. I am competent. That's the thoughts. That's the conscious level. But unconscious level, it has been dominating every behavior you have. And then if he had to say something related to work, when people are talking about the work, he will take it personally. He is not going to think that you're just talking about the work. You're talking about me. You're talking about I am not competent. So then unconsciously, he's going to be defensive. He's going to argue with you. Now here we're using he, it can be she as well. He or she. So all these behavioral patterns, do they sound familiar? If it sounds familiar, you can type into the chat as 1. If not, 0. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you very much for your authenticity. And you see that when we are talking about speak with an authentic voice, I cannot just teach this client, oh, you need, these are the authentic authentic voice techniques. Use it. He won't use it because he doesn't feel safe. He doesn't feel safe and secure to open up. So that's the other behavioral pattern, which is there is a lack of safety, security. He may be opening up to very close friends or someone he or she trusts. So more or less, we all have a little bit, I am not good enough, this complex. It's just which one is dominant at which stage of your life. So you see, that's why we're always human beings evolving. We are never a complete product. We're always work in progress. So that's the other thing. Don't blame yourself. If you realize that, oh, I am still having this behavior, all the work I have done is wasted. No, it's not wasted. You're always evolving. And so that's, I am not good enough barrier. And of course, we mentioned that related to this, there is inferiority, there is the fear of judgment, there is also the fear of imperfection. Fear of imperfection, fear of insecurity. I see this insecurity is more about mental, emotional insecurity. It's not about material. So that's the behavior. Okay. So that's the first one. I am not good enough. And also we mentioned, you see, this is going to be permeating in every area of your life. It's not just in speaking up. It's not just in the way that you project your voice. It is in everything. It can be in relationships, in your marriage, in the way that you deal with your kids. So your work after today is started to realize, started to be aware, how is this dominant pattern affecting you? That's the first step. Learning starts from awareness. This is a quote I heard 13 years ago in 2007. So until today, I am still remembering because it is so powerful. Learning starts from awareness. Before you can make any improvement, you must be aware. So that's one thing you're going to do, which is to start to observe how is it affecting you in other areas of your life. For example, besides the speaking up we're talking about, the other one is it will show up in the voice, which is when you want to say something, your sentence is not going to be flowing. That can be another reflection of you are trying to be good enough. It is that when you're speaking, your sentence is not flowing. The reason is because you are trying to find the right word, the perfect word to feel, to make sure that your sentence is flowing. So this is also happening in my clients who is not feeling that they're good enough. There are many reasons that your sentence is not flowing. If you have this barrier, which is I'm not good enough, the reason is because you're trying to find a perfect word. There are also other clients of mine whose sentence is not flowing. There are other reasons where we're going to talk about later. But you want to find out what is your reason. And the other behaviors could be, for those who are, I'm not good enough, you're constantly finding all kinds of ways to improve yourself. It is good to improve ourselves, but what is the reason? What is the intention for you to improve yourself? For this type, they always seeking different ways to fix themselves. That's the intention. I am broken. There are parts of me I need to fix. I am not good enough. I need to fix this part. You can still attend all kinds of different programs, like what I do. So I attend all kinds of programs every month, if not every week. Every month I attend different programs, but it's not from the intention that I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me, something I need to fix. It's not from this starting point. Sometimes it's from the standpoint of, this will help me better my work. This will help me better my work. Or this will help me to feel more fulfilling. Or this will help me to become more efficient. That's the standpoint. So you want to also think about what's the reason that you are attending all kinds of programs to improve. Is it that you feel somehow you're not good enough? Somehow you're broken? Somehow you're trying to fix yourself? There's a client of mine, when I was working with her, she was always very slow in doing the exercises. So for example, 2 months later, she's still not doing any exercises. Then I started to ask her, I said, okay, what happened in the past 2 weeks? She said, oh, you didn't know that last week, just the weekend, the whole day, I was running from one workshop to another one. I said, why is it that you're attending 2 workshops in a day? This workshop will help me with this one. Because I am not good at this one. This one will help me with another one. But see, at the end of the day, that even though she has been attending so many workshops, but she is still not feeling confident, not feeling good enough. She was so exhausted. She didn't even have time to integrate everything that she was learning. And then what's even worse was once she started to realize, oh, now I need to prioritize. So I will prioritize working on my voice. I will prioritize working on my voice starting from watching the session recording. So that was her first step. And then the next session, she came back. I said, how is it? And she said, I was watching my recording, the session recording, and I realized I was not smiling. that was not supposed to be the focus. So she realized she was not smiling. And then I said, okay, what else did you notice? I noticed that my hair is getting less. So she was finding all kinds of faults, all kinds of problems with her. So that's another behavior pattern you may have when you think that you're not good enough, which is when you look into the mirror, you see all kinds of problems. So that's the other practice you can do if you have this I am not good enough pattern, which is every morning, look yourself into the mirror and then see that what is your very first response. What is your very first response? So that's, I am not good enough. This is also in our society. That is probably also the number one in our society. The mental emotional barrier that is holding everyone back. When you don't feel you're good enough, you're not going to love yourself. You're not going to accept yourself. When you're not accepting yourself, the other behavior you would have is to seek all kinds of ways outside of yourself to make sure that you feel good enough. So you see, you're seeking outside of yourself. You're not seeking inside. And that's why you see we have all these wars, we have all these chaos, we have all these terrible things happening. Some people are doing terrible things. It's because they are not feeling good enough. They have to look outside of themselves to seek something to make themselves feel good. They see if every one of us, we can accept ourselves, we can love ourselves, then we don't need to go outside ourselves to do all these things, to harm people, harm the nature, harm anything, to make ourselves feel better. So that's I am not good enough. And then one final thing I'll point out is for this I'm not good enough, the other behavior is Probably you tend to be very serious. You tend to be very serious. You're not having fun enough. You're not laughing enough. And I started to realize that very often happening in our society. We're not laughing enough. We're not having fun enough. It also makes sense, right? When you are looking at things that are needing to be fixed, of course that you're not going to be having fun. You're going to be serious all the time. Okay, so that's the very first, I am not good enough. So how do we change that? We're going to change that later when we finish the other barriers as well. But right now, I would like to have you do some journaling. So this journaling we're going to do is, what is your view on the following? Besides, I am not good enough, one is about you. For example, you can write down, I am not good enough. I am serious. I don't smile a lot. So this is one thing you're going to journal about. And then the second thing you're going to journal about is others are blah, blah, blah. For example, we mentioned when you have this barrier of I am not good enough, you tend to think that others are judging me. Others are judging me. Or others are laughing too much. They're not serious. Others are not taking work seriously. Or even others are hurting another person. So that's the second thing you're going to journal about. Others are blah, blah, blah. And then the third you're going to journal about is the world is. So these are three things you're going to journal about. I am, others are, and the world. The world is not safe. The world is not fair. The world is broken. The world is chaotic. Or, so these are the things you're going to journal about. I will give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So right now it's about 9:39. So whichever time zone you are, it's at a 40 minutes time. So we will come back after finish the journaling in 5 minutes time, at a 45 minutes time. And then later on, we're going to hear from some of you on the sharing. Okay, so time starts now, and I'll pause the recording. Okay, if one doesn't show any of the behavior patterns, most possibly doesn't have this. Could be, yes. So Nancy is asking if someone doesn't show any of the behaviors we're talking about. Is it that this person does not have I'm not good enough barrier? It could be, yes. So how can she or he find out? So we have other barriers that we're going to talk about as well. And then that's one way to help them find out. Two is you want to look at in your life, what is the recurring problem? In your life, what is the recurring problem? Or in your life, what is the biggest struggle? Even if it's the biggest struggle right now. So because every struggle, every challenge we have, it is a reflection of one pattern or a combination of a few patterns. So that's where you want to look at. Then some of you might be thinking, does that mean that it is so sad that we have to look at all these struggles, challenges? You see, that's why that we're saying, there's a saying that you have to look at the dark side in order to be really deeply shine, we cannot ignore the dark side. Because if you don't deal with it, guess what's going to happen? There's another pattern. If you don't deal with the dark side, if you're always trying to be happy-go-lucky, you're going to have another pattern. And then also, sooner or later, you're going to get depressed. Because there is a reason for those struggles to be there. And we have to slowly realize what the reason is. So that is also reminding me of the saying, life does not happen to you. A few years ago, a client of mine, she was sharing with me her struggles, her family relationships, marriage, kids struggles. And then, so when she finished sharing, she said, why does all this happening to me? Have you ever had that moment as well? You feel that, why is it that life, all these things are happening to me? They're not happening to you. They're happening through you and for you. So in my life, there was also a moment where I was thinking that, why is it this is happening to me? Why, universe, you're putting this happening to me? So then over time, with all kinds of healing processes, growth, I realize these are happening through me and for me. So this is what we are discovering today. Okay. So Ahmad, question is not related to what we're talking about today. So I'm not going to answer that. You can come in one of the future webinars. We will answer that. Okay. And so that's that one. And let's hear from some of you who would like to share with me that, share with not just me, but everyone, that your I am statement, others are statement, the world is statement. So we gave a few examples just now. Okay, so let's hear from some of you who is going to be shared with us. You don't need to share every statement, just sharing one or two statements. So let's hear from you. If you're ready, you can unmute yourself. I think, or you can raise your hand. I am not sure whether you can unmute yourself right now. Okay, so let's hear from you. So once you share, so we can also help you to become more towards that what you share today. So instead of I'm going to give you all these I have seen in other clients. Okay, can unmute. So then you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. Unmute you. So let's unmute Kendrick first. Okay, let me see. Okay, yes. Kendrick?
Right. Actually, I can find out some of what you mentioned happening in my life, and and for example, I'm always looking for the right word, and I feel that I can't fit in. I used to feel that I can't fit in. Yeah, I waited until I was about 20 years old when I joined the armed forces that I can fix up a full sentence in English. So that really happened to me.
Okay.
And it's I think it's a constant thing that happens along throughout my life as well.
Okay, yes, thank you for sharing. And also, do you have the statement like I am, others are, the world is?
So I'm always looking for the right word. I feel like I can't fit in. And I feel that others are judging me, feeling that I'm not in the group. And I feel that the world is about perceptions.
Okay, okay, very good. So let's give him a silent clap. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Yes, so that's another one, which is I don't belong. So this is another barrier that we have. it can be derived from I am not good enough. It can also derive from other patterns. I don't belong. And also sometimes, yes, I am not welcomed. Okay, so Chin Yi raised her hands. Yes, so I'll unmute you. Very good. Yes, Chin Yi.
Okay. Okay, my statement is I do not know enough.
Okay.
Yeah, and others are always, expecting so much from me, coming up with new ideas and having to make decisions. So, and the world, I feel, is too complex and moving too fast, changing too fast for me to catch up.
Okay, very good. Yes. Okay, thank you, Chin Yi. So you also give her a clap. Yes. So this is also quite related. You see that besides I'm not good enough, yes, I don't know enough. I'm always not knowing enough. Okay, very good. So for the rest of you, if you want to share, you can type into the chat as well. Okay. Yes, Raymond, you want to share?
Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes. My sentences is I'm not good enough in speaking good and fluent English with powerful voice. Others are judging me based on the words that I use. And the world is competitive and high expectations.
Yes. Okay, very good. Yes. Thank you. Let's also give him a clap. And now you see that this is very much related. Our inner pattern, our inner barrier, they are writing our stories, writing the stories of how we see others and how we see the world. So you see, when we were kids, what kind of things that you hear from your parents? So I'm going to say this. This is one thing I hear from my mom. That okay, this is going to be a okay. This is might not be accepted by some of you, but this is what I heard when I was young. So my mom said, "Men cannot be trusted." So of course that I had to unlearn that in my journey. But that was one of the things that I heard, and that is shaping the way I saw the world, the way that I interacted with people. So all these things that we are adopting, they're not really ours. We have to unlearn them. So just now you have written your story, how you see the world, like I am, others, the world. You have written your story. And we are also going to rewrite it. But now you see that by writing them down, you realize now that what is your current story about everything, you, others, and the world. So and that's you're writing your old story. We're going to call it your old story because we are going to write your new story as well. So that's one thing. And then the others, if you are stuck, you can always write down all the things you have heard since you were young. And this is also a lesson for you if you are a parent. Now you have the responsibility of re-educating your kids. So observe what kind of statement that you are giving to them. You are conditioning them. So you may want to recondition them. The second biggest barrier that I have seen in my clients. So just now, the first one is I'm not good enough. And related to that, there are a lot of others. Some of you have shared. So the second one is the deepest emotional pattern, emotional barrier, and mental barrier as well. So the second one, the biggest and the deepest, you may not even realize this, is I don't matter. I don't matter. So the behavior, if this doesn't resonate with you, the behaviors might be resonating. So I don't matter, the behavior would be, in the meeting, you will never assert your opinion. You never assert your ideas because you think that, oh, even if I say it, it won't change anything. Even if I say it, they have already decided. I won't make much a difference. Then sometimes even, why bother? Then just don't say it. So does that resonate with you? If so, type into the chat as 1. If not, 0. So that's one behavior pattern of I don't matter. And of course, the related one is I don't matter. My opinions don't matter. I can't change others' opinions. I can't change the company's decisions. Everything has been decided. And then the other behavior is in a meeting or in any gathering. In any gathering, everyone is speaking. And then you started to speak. You said something, but no one even noticed you said something. One of my clients, she said in a social association, in an association meeting, she was attending. Everyone was introducing themselves. She was the very first, or if not the first, the second. She was in the front to introduce herself. And she was either the first one or the second one. And then after one round of introduction, the host of the meeting said, "Oh, you haven't introduced yourself." She said, "What? I was the very first or the second to introduce myself. No one even remembered I introduced myself." So that's another behavior, where that even though you said something, but no one even noticed, or even if they noticed, they didn't give any opinion. You didn't make any impression on them. And then of course, your voice was soft. You have a very soft voice, a very small volume. And when you're speaking, it's probably like this. Sometimes you're talking to yourself. So those will be the behaviors. And looks like the behaviors was that you never have the ambition. You don't have the ambition. You may even hear people say, or even if you wanted to do something, but you never showed that you have that willingness, you have that desire. Then over time, people will just think that, oh, you don't want it. Even at certain moment, you wanted it, but you never pursue it. You never ask for it. Because unconsciously you believe, even if I ask for it, I won't get it. So on the surface, looks like that you're someone that who is very peaceful, very okay with not getting something. It's not that you don't want something, it's you never get in touch with that part of you want to get something. So now from the behavior, you can also see another pattern, which is invisibility. And the barrier is I am invisible. It is, right? You are there, you said something. No one even heard you said something. They ask you to repeat. They ask you to introduce yourself, even though you have just done that. So besides, I don't matter, my opinions that don't matter, I am invisible. No one sees me. No one notices me. Others are there to have the spotlight. I don't. They don't care about me. They leave me alone. The world is a cold place. Everyone is chasing for their own good, for their own benefit. People are indifferent. These are all related to this deep barrier that I don't matter. Then you see you are living in a world with indifference. You also become indifferent. And you feel that's okay because it doesn't create a big turmoil emotionally. Looks like that you are dealing with this situation very well, but it's not. This indifference you have brought you illusion, the illusion of a peaceful feeling. You're not really living your life. You are achieving this sense of peace, this sense of quietness by not engaging. You're avoiding. So you see that the deep down is another deeper pattern, which is you are, or I am not engaged with life. You're not deeply, really, authentically engaged with life. So that's I don't matter. Okay. So now for this deeper barrier, all the things that we have talked about for I don't matter, does it resonate with you? You can type as one. And also feel free to share. Raise your hand if you want to share something. Okay. So all the other behaviors would be, for example, in meetings, you go into a meeting. You're sitting in a place where that you don't draw a lot of attention. If you have to draw attention when you speak, you may have been told a lot of times to speak up, to speak louder. And you will also find challenge to jump in. Other people are talking. You don't find the opportunity to speak. Most of the times you may not speak up. Okay. So this is I don't matter. Okay. And of course, considering the time, we will not give you the time this round to write down your old story about others, your old story about the world. I have pointed out just now, right? So when we get stuck in this pattern, then you'll be thinking that other people are indifferent. Other people are all paying attention to themselves. People are rude. They are all speaking. No one is saying that they are going to give me a chance. If it was me, I would be saying, oh, you look quiet. Do you have something to say? And you don't see that in other people. So then you think that people are rude. I hear this so often in my clients. They're always saying that people are very rude, especially when I talk to a group of people, a certain group of people. They're all rude. They're all just talking about their own opinions. No one ever asked me, what do I think? Okay, so that's your homework. If you have this pattern, then you're going to write your stories, your old story about others, about the world. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the next, the third one. Okay, so before we move on to the third one, for the second or even the first barrier, do you have any question? If you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can type them into the chat. Okay. Okay, so looks like no one has question. Then we're going to move on. Just a reminder that it is very important to write down your stories because we need to rewrite the story. The third one is, this is also a deeper one. If you're not aware, you may not even realize you have this pattern. The third one is, I am not loved. I am not loved. Related to those would be, I am not accepted by who I am. I have to do something to be loved. I have to earn love. Okay. So of course, related to this one, there are also, for example, can also be, I am abandoned. I am not loved. I am abandoned. I am not accepted for who I am. I have to do something to be loved. I have to earn love. So the behavior would be, for example, you are earning love by helping other people. You are earning love by helping other people. You know that person, what does that person want? This person's birthday, this person's all kinds of things very well. And then you're going to do anything for that person, paying attention to what everyone else needs. But having challenge, accepting what other people give to you. For example, if you always give other people, give in all kinds of form and shape, give other people presents, gifts, love, care. But when other people are showing care to you, you feel very uncomfortable. You have difficulty accepting. You also might have the challenge to say no to another person. Because if you say no, they may not love you. They may not accept you anymore. They may not like you anymore. And how is it reflected in the way you're speaking? So there are many ways that can be reflected. One way is when you're speaking, you're having this pleasing voice, pleasing voice. So for example, if we say, how are you? So most of the times you may be saying, other people may say, how are you? Or how are you? Or people who are holding themselves back will be, how are you? It's like, better not talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. How are you? But for these people who want to be loved, they will be saying, how are you? I see the difference. And have you seen that in people around you? If you are the opposite, then you may feel, oh, it's too much. You're staying back. So that's the voice pleasing. Okay. So this is one behavioral pattern to earn love. To earn love by helping other people. To earn love, to earn likability by not saying no. By constantly attending to people around them, but not attending to themselves. And then have challenge saying no. But you see, sometimes there might be some exploding from this type of people because they have been suppressing so much. I'm not saying no to you, I'm helping you. I'm not saying no to you, I'm helping you. Then over time, when you're not showing any appreciation for their help, they may be exploding. And then you will be surprised. So that's the other pattern. The other barrier and its pattern. Okay. Have you seen this in people around you or yourself? So you can type 1 if you have seen that. Okay. The story could also be, for example, others are not grateful. Others are not grateful. Other people always get, not give. Or people need my help. The world needs my help. Okay, so this is on this pattern. And this one also have, I need to belong. I need to belong. Because when you're belonging, when you're in a group, you feel more safe, you feel loved. So these are all related to this pattern. See, the voice for this type is that it's not grounded, is always going out, looking outwards. So one of the things that if you have this pattern, what you can do is just now the centering exercise, the centering exercise. There can be many different reasons why we have the pattern. One of the key reasons is the way we were brought up. How is our family environment like? It has shaped the way you are, has conditioned you. So now that you are aware, we need to uncondition them, unlearn them. So that's one behavior of I am not loved. The other one is I am not loved. I have to earn love by achieving something, by doing something. I have to earn love in a certain way, behave in a certain way, speak in a certain way. I am loved because I have achieved this. I have gained this. I am loved because of my status. I am loved because of my achievement. So you see, this is very much so in our today's society. Kids were trained in this way. You have to achieve this grade in school. Then we will love you. Then since most kids were young, they were trained into this pattern. The pattern of, I will only be loved when I achieve certain grades. I will only be loved when I achieve certain things. Did you ever experience, even if a brief moment of this pattern? So what happens is that this people with this barrier and this pattern would not be speaking in a way that how they feel, they authentically feel. They will be speaking in a way that they know this will work for you, that you will accept it. What do we mean by that? For example, when we hear certain voice, we say, that's like a sales voice. So remember, a friend of mine, he asked me to look at his video, also a speaker. And then this is how he spoke. Hello, everyone, look at this and this. We're selling this product, blah, blah, blah. So the way I am demonstrating, can you see this is the typical sales voice? We see that in TV commercials, in late night TV commercials. So, or you may even see that in, especially in the States, selling the cars, the car salesman. So they are adopting that voice because they see that voice looks like it was accepted by the big population. Looks like that voice works. Then they are adopting that voice without thinking how they really feel. They can have an inspirational voice if you want them to sound inspirational. They can have a determined voice if you want them to sound determined. But deep down, you can feel there is a lack of authentic feeling. They're not feeling it. They're just using that voice. For example, if we say inspirational voice, then they can adopt an inspirational voice. Let's do this. But they're not feeling it. If you listen carefully, you can feel there's a disconnection between how they really feel, or even if they ever feel, and versus the voice. Or determined. So one sentence I always practice with my clients is, I can answer in one word, victory. Some of you are familiar with this sentence. So I said this is going to convey determination. So for my clients who are having this pattern, they will be sounding in this way. I can answer in one word, victory. It sounds very so-called powerful, defined by our society as powerful. Then they are going to adopt that voice. But the way I was demonstrating just now, how did it make you feel? Type into the chat. Let me know, how did it make you feel? If I say, I can answer in one word, victory. And have you seen people speak in that way? Okay, nothing. So my demonstration made you feel nothing. Okay, so especially those of you who are not participating, I would love to have your participation. In growth, in learning, in growth, there is a quote said, learning is in the doing. Learning is in the doing. You can listen. So for the 2 hours, you can listen. Wow, yes, makes sense. Very good. And then after that, you did nothing. You practiced nothing. Then, of course, nothing will happen. So you have to practice. Okay, very good. Thank you. So some of you feel threatened. Yes. Dramatic, disconnected. Yes. In a way, you will also see some situations. It's dramatic. So that's why a lot of my clients, they came to me, they said, oh, I like whose and whose voice. I want to sound like them. For example, they would say that right now, a very popular guy in these past few years, this name I have been hearing mentioning by a lot of clients, and this name is Gary Vee. So they always tell me, they said, oh, I like Gary Vee's voice. It sounds very powerful. I want to sound like him. So I went to listen to his voice. If you are a fan of him, I am sorry, but I'm going to be honest. His voice is terrible. His voice is terrible. It's very thin. It's not full, not deep enough. But there is this higher pitch. So the higher pitch sometimes give people the false feeling of powerful. That's why our world today needs to redefine powerful. And I was sharing the quote recently on social media from Martin Luther King. So it's the balance between power and love. We need both power and love. Power without love is abusive. We've seen that in the world in the past few years. Okay, so you see also that why do you need to have another person's voice? You don't want to have another person's voice. You want to have a voice that's yours, that's authentically yours. So that's why when we are developing the feeling of your voice, we want to have the voice that's more how you feel. So we want to discover how you are feeling when you are determined, how you are going to speak when you are feeling inspired. So that's the other thing you want to start to be aware and consider, which is the authentically feel. How do you authentically feel? So that is what this pattern, the people with this pattern need to learn, that I need to earn love by what I have achieved. I am not loved. I'm not loved for who I am. I am loved by what I achieved. So this is for this pattern. Morgan Freeman has a very good voice. So most people who want to so-called sound like Morgan Freeman is more into the quality of Morgan Freeman's voice. So they are not this pattern. They are, when you ask them, so when I ask them more, you will realize that they're more appreciative about Morgan Freeman's voice quality, not exactly the way he is speaking. So that's, there's a little bit difference. Okay, very good. So I can see some of you are engaging, participating. And Karthik said, awakening. Not sure what made you awake. Okay, so that's for this pattern. This is the third pattern. So we have, I am not good enough. I don't matter. I am not loved. I am not loved. There are many different behaviors. We talked about two types of behaviors. One is I need to earn love by helping other people, by caring for other people, by attending to other people. Then you lose yourself. So one thing you can do as a practice is to do centering exercise. Besides body centering, also ask for yourself, what do I need? Then the other behavior for I am not loved is I have to earn love by achievement. This type of people with this type of pattern, they are surviving or even thriving very well in our society, because unfortunately in our society right now, it is being celebrated. But at the end of the day, you're not living a very authentic life. You are living a life on how other people want, how other people need, what will make me accepted by other people. But at the core, you are not accepting yourself. You are not accepting yourself for who you are. So that's on the third pattern. Okay. Fourth one, some of you already started to share a little bit, but this one we're going to go even more. The fourth one is I don't belong. I don't belong. Okay, I don't belong. But you see, when we talk till here, after we finish this 3.5 patterns, the reason we're saying 3.5, because the third one, there are 2 different behaviors. After we finish this 3.5, can you see that everyone is struggling with something? Everyone is struggling with something. That is not for you to be happy. Yay, I'm not alone. That is for you to grow more compassion towards other people. Because every one of us, we are struggling with something. My struggle was, I don't matter. That was my struggle. So everyone is struggling with something. So that actually helps us to become more compassionate. At the same time, of course, work on ourselves first. Because when you started to accept yourself, when you started to love yourself, then the way you look at other people, the way you look at the world will be different. That will be your new story. That I'm not sure how many more generations can we achieve that, which is that everyone will be loving themselves. If every one of us love ourselves, accept ourselves, then we won't have all those crimes, all those bullying, all those abusive behaviors out there. Because all those behaviors, they are a reflection of trying to find love. But we're trying to find love in the wrong place. We have to go in, not go out. Okay, so that's the 3.5. The first one, I don't belong. I don't belong. So this I don't belong is, there can be also many different types of behaviors. So here I am going to talk about one particular one that I often see in my clients as well. So when you feel that you don't belong, then you go into a group. You say, oh, these people are not my type, not my group. I don't want to talk to them. And also talking to them is a waste of my time. Talking to them, engage with them more is a waste of my energy, waste of my everything. I don't want to interact with them more. They are also taking up too much of my time if they are talking with me. You don't want to engage. So when you feel that you don't belong, you don't want to engage with the group that you are in. You don't want to engage in a conversation you're having with another person. Then if you don't want to engage with this group of people, if you don't want to engage into conversation or too much with this involved, too much with this group, it will be reflected in your voice as you're going to speak in this way. When people ask you something, you just quickly finish what you want to speak so that people won't take up too much of your time. so that people can feel you don't want to talk to them, so that they can get lost very soon. So that's for this behavior. I don't belong, and also I don't want to belong anymore. I give up. I'll just go and do my own thing. So people don't come to bother me. I also don't want to bother other people. So this is one type of I don't belong. So earlier on, you find that when you have I am not good enough, there are also behaviors of I don't belong, but it's a little bit different from this one. So the one behavior, one barrier can have many different patterns. So this pattern is I don't belong and I don't want to belong. This one I also see quite a lot in my clients. And this is when they're speaking this way. So a client of mine, he's speaking this way, and then he came to me saying that I want to sound more charismatic because now I'm managing a very large team. And this is how I'm speaking. So if I say that being charismatic, one thing is you need to become more emotional. You need to exude more emotional. You need to express more emotion. You need to feel more. Guess what the response is? I don't like to feel more. So I cannot just pressing them. You need to feel more. You need to feel more. They're not going to do it. So then I have to help them realize this is the reason that you're not feeling more. Because not only you feel you don't belong, but also you don't want to belong. Then that's a belief we want to change for DM. DM said it happens to some Asians in US work cultures. Could be, yes. Okay, very well phrased. He said to some. Because this type of clients I'm talking about right now is one of them is not Asian. He is British. So you see that it does not only happen to certain cultures. It happens more to the individual, to what kind of environment you were brought up. So he was brought up in a family where exuding too much emotion will bring trouble. You see, that was his story. Expressing too much emotion brings trouble, brings danger, breaks a family. So that's why that since young, if you are brought up in that environment, you have this notion that you need to, one is you need to manage your emotion, don't exude too much emotion. Two is over time, you also don't even know how to express emotions because it's being suppressed. So that's why we want to look at how these patterns come from as well, how these patterns were conditioned. So this is this one. This one also have the challenge of speaking in a way that the sentence is not flowing. The reason is not that they are trying to find the perfect words. This is very interesting. It is not that they are trying to form a perfect words, a perfect word. It is because that they are trying to see that how can I speak in a way that is most logical. So they are not exuding emotions. They are also not in touch with their emotions. So if you are not in touch with their emotions, most of times you'll be in the logical world, enjoying the logics. So then when you're enjoying the logics, when you're speaking, you're trying to make sense of what you're speaking. In your head, there's a big web of logics. So when they ask you something, instead of answering the question, you are trying to go to your web in your head to make everything logical before you speak out. So that's the reason that their sentences are not flowing. It's because they are trying to make it in a logical flow. So when they're speaking, I can see they're thinking. They're trying to find the logics in their head. Now, for you, there are some cases you can use as a reference. Then most of the times it resulted in a monotone. It resulted in a voice that's very boring because you are talking a lot of logics. At the same time, you're also talking about every step in the entire answer. In order to answer one question, you're talking about every logical step. But most of the time, people don't need to know every logical step. Then you're going to lose people. So people can go find, okay, thank you, Chinyi. You feel resonated. So some of you, if you also feel resonated, you can type into the chat. So some of the examples people can look for, they are Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. So these two are this type. The way they're speaking, you can see they are looking for logics. They are also trying to make it logical flow. Sometimes they talk about this logic. And then guess what? When they are talking about their logical step number 3, people are already moving on. This was also my feeling when I was listening to the interviews with Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. It is that when they're speaking, especially Warren Buffett, especially when I'm not very into investing, I felt it was so boring. He only talked about 3 sentences. I'm already lost. And then for Bill Gates, it's a little bit better. But still, you can see that after a while, he'll be going into his own head in this logical flow. His own makes sense to him, but people couldn't understand that. People wouldn't see that. And also, don't you notice that these two, they're also living a life that they don't belong as if, right? And also, if you ask them, they probably would say, oh, people are a bunch of idiots. So even though sometimes that they don't say that, but they feel that people are not smart enough, people are not intelligent enough, people are doing stupid things. These things are so clear. Why can't they see it? A bunch of idiots. Then they don't want to talk to you even more because you're not at their intelligence level. This is not happening to everyone. This is happening to them when they are in a very strong logical mind. They are the extreme of this pattern. So this is this type. This type thinks that the world is lacking logics. The world is run by a bunch of idiots. that is actually the exact word from Bill Gates. I was listening to one of his interviews recently. Okay, so some of you are asking questions. How about in the mind, translation of language? For example, thinking words in Chinese and speaking English sentences. Okay. Yes, that will slow you down as well. So that's the reason you want to use simple words, simple structures, so that you don't need to find the perfect word. You don't need to go a long way to translate. Use simple words, simple sentences. That's a quick suggestion. Okay, so this is this type, which is I don't belong. But you see, this type, that pattern is the deeper reason. deriving from that pattern, it can be having many behaviors. We're just going to talk about these 4 patterns because we're running out of time. I also want to do some practices with you. Okay, so there are many other types. We don't have time to talk about them, but I am inviting you to come to a program that I'll be doing. So I am doing a master class. And in this master class, we'll be diving into more different patterns, more different core beliefs, sabotaging beliefs and identities that you need to shift. And so this is the master class that is not going to focus on the voice projection techniques, but is going to focus on what caused your way of projection, what caused your voice problems, so that we can really solve the fundamental sabotaging beliefs so that you can really go dash forward. And then with the voice techniques, you can really dash forward, have the momentum, become unstoppable. So that's the masterclass I'll be doing. And the masterclass is going to start on 22nd of December, which is in 1.5 weeks' time. And this is going to be a 5-week program. So in these 5 weeks, one is we're going to identify your pattern. There are so many patterns, so many core beliefs. If you want to go more, there are 21 of them, 21 of them. But in the program, in the masterclass, we're going to find the one that works for you. What is your dominant, the second, the third? We're going to find 3, at least 3 of your sabotaging beliefs. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then also, we're going to help you, of course, most importantly, to release them. That is one of the questions my clients ask me the most. They said, oh, how do I get this go away? Do they just go away over time? Now I'm aware, what do I do next? So what do you do next is there are a few things. One is you need to release the patterns, not only from the mind, but also from the body, from the heart. The heart is where it is not mentioned in our society. It is some subject that the society is avoiding, but there are a lot of wounding in the heart. So that's one thing we're going to do. So today you did one very simple step, which is journaling. Journaling is one of them. We're also going to do many other practices and processes to help you release them. So one is we're going to release them from the mind, release the mental patterns. 2 is we're going to release them, and most importantly, to heal the heart, to heal the heart. A lot of the patterns, they are emotional patterns. We need to attend to the emotion. And when you are doing that, you'll be able to release them, release the blockage in your heart. The heart in our society has a lot of blockages. So that's 3. And also we're going to help you map out your pathway for growth, for breakthrough, for change. So that's the other important thing we need to do, which is to map out your pathway for breakthrough. And one of the key tools I'll be using in mapping out your pathway is Enneagram. So if you have heard of Enneagram, even if you haven't, that's okay. So we will be talking about more in depth in the program. I am an accredited Enneagram professional. I am the first woman to get accredited in Singapore. And so this topic, even though it's not taught in public, I have been teaching this topic for 6 years, 6 years, and also was presenting this topic in different Enneagram conferences around the world. So this masterclass, because it is the very first one that I'll be doing, and that's why that we are also pricing it not at my normal price. So you know that for my other masterclass, it is around 2,500, 3,000. So this year, we're going to price it as just 1,997, 997. So here it is. So this is the masterclass we'll be doing. And you will notice that we are going to jump from December to January. So it is a jump. And this masterclass is Become Unstoppable. And that is what I like as well, what I love. So you can go to this website. I'll be putting them into the chat as well. Unstoppable Masterclass. So it's bit.ly, Unstoppable Masterclass. And in this page, you will see Unstoppable Masterclass. Let me see if this works. So in this masterclass, you will see that all the details. Okay. So my introduction, and then these are the modules we talked about. One is we will identify out of the 21, what are your top 3 sabotaging beliefs? And then also module 2 is what is the source? So you'll hear me saying some of my clients, the way they were brought up, it is very important. That is one of the key sources why you are behaving in this pattern. So we'll be discovering this, have a discussion on this and discover this. And then also, because just discovering the source itself give you a lot of enlightenment. So then module 3 is work with you on a mental level. And then module 4 is work with you on the heart level. This is the area that in our society is being blocked. And then module 5 is your pathway. So this is the Enneagram I was talking about. And the program will be every Tuesday for 5 Tuesdays in a row. So it will be around 2 hours as well. And then, so this is the investment. Okay. If you have any questions about this program, feel free to type them into the chat. And also that today, since you are joining, so we are going to, I am going to, the other thing is the bonus. So I know that some of you still want to work on your voice. So one of the bonus programs is a very simplified version of the voice program. It's the 5 weeks to your powerful voice program. Since all of you are here today, if you want to sign up today, so I will give you the bonus, which is not on the website. This bonus is a deeper program on the voice. It is the 90 days voice masterclass. So if you sign up today, you will get the 90 days voice masterclass. And you have to let me know by the end of the day, which is about 12 hours from now. So in 12 hours from now, if you want to join the program, let me know, send an email to reply any email that you receive, like the support. And then you will get the bonus program, 90 days to your voice masterclass. Okay, so some of you are asking the timing. The timing is most likely to be morning time, for Singapore. For Singapore, it's morning time. For the States, it will be evening time, around 5 or 6 p.m. For Pacific, around the same time as today. So that's for the timing. Okay, so if you have any other questions about the masterclass, feel free to type them into the chat. And then also, if you have questions about what we talked about just now, type them into the chat as well. And then after the class, after today, if you still have any questions, feel free to reply the emails you receive, which is starting with support, support at my website, which is powerfulexecutivevoice.com. Okay, so now we are going to, with the 10 minutes left, that's perfect because we have time to do one practice. A practice to help you release the pattern. Now, of course, 10 minutes won't help you release it forever. It is a good start. So this is one of the practices we will be doing. in the masterclass. And what you're going to do is, so we will be getting clear first on your pattern. So you're going to get clear on one pattern that you want to release, one pattern. So we talked about 3 things. You see which one is resonate with you. And also, even you didn't find any of it, but some of the related patterns, like for example, I don't matter, I am not good enough, related to people always judge me, the world always blah, blah, blah. So anything related to I am, others, and the world. Of course, I am is the best. I am not good enough. I don't matter. My opinions don't matter. I am not accepted. I am not loved. I don't belong. People do not welcome me. People judge me. All these related. I am not accepted. I am not accepted for who I am. All these patterns we're talking about, pick one, or some of the ones we didn't talk about. So I'll read some of the others. You see whether it resonates with you. And pick one, that's the one that we're going to do a practice with. So the others are, I am abandoned. For example, I am abandoned. People abandon me. People leave me. I am all on my own. No one helps me. I always do all things on my own. No one cares about me. These are all related to this one. And also, I am not safe. I am not safe. The world is not safe. Life is a battle. I have to be tough. Some of the others, I need to be tough. I have to be tough. I am tough. This is another one we didn't get the chance to talk about. This one actually I wanted to talk about. So there are 5, we mentioned that 5 of them. We mentioned 4. The 5th I wanted to talk about, I am tough. So this one is the opposite to some of the other patterns we talked about. Okay, so with all these different patterns we talked about, pick one. Have you got the one that you want to work on? Okay. Let me know if you have gotten the one. Type 1 into the chat. Then I will know how many of you are ready. And we will be doing an exercise on that. Okay, very good. So once you find that, now we're going to relax first. So make sure that you're sitting comfortably. Okay. I am also going to work with you. Some of the patterns, they may not run me that strongly, but they're still running me. The good thing is that you are aware. So unfortunately, we're human beings. We're always a work in progress. Okay. So once you find it, I would like to have you sit comfortably, relax. We're going to do a big sigh. Big sigh first. And then sit comfortably with your eyes closed. So close your eyes. Feet on the ground. So you're going to do a few breaths. So you just do the breathing in and out on your own pace. In, out. Do 3 deep breaths. Okay. So once you are finishing doing the deep breath, I would like to have you repeat the pattern that you have recognized. The pattern could be, I am not good enough. Repeat the pattern out loud. Don't say it in your head. Repeat the pattern. For example, I am not good enough. I am not good enough. Or I don't belong. I am not loved. I am not wanted. I am tough. So as you repeat this statement, notice which part of your body has a strong reaction. Which part of your body has a strong reaction? If you didn't notice, you are going to repeat this pattern a few times. Repeat the pattern for a few times, and then notice where it is in your body, that your body has a strong reaction. For example, I have a strong reaction at around this stomach area, but a little bit above the stomach area. So for me, it's a little bit here. You want to find where it is in your body. Okay. So once you find that part in your body that has strong reaction, place your hand there. Place your hand there. Take a few breaths in and out. And then now, we're going to take a huge breath in, a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to breathe out this pattern. Breathe out this pattern. I am not perfect. I am not loved. I am not good enough. And see this pattern dissolving as you breathe out. This pattern is dissolving, is broken into pieces. Whichever form it works for you. So as you breathe in, and when you breathe out, this pattern is dissolving. It's just dissolving. Or this pattern is being broken into pieces. So take a few breaths in until you see them, 90% of them being dissolved or being broken into pieces. You're going to do this breathing in and breathe out, dissolving or broken into pieces on your own rhythm until you see 90 of them, 90% of them is being cleared. When you feel they're cleared, no need to be 100%. Even 80%, 70% will work. You don't need to dissolve all of them to be perfect. So now let's say 70%, 80% is gone. You can slowly remove your hand. Take a few breaths in and out. When you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Okay, so we can do another sign. Okay, you can type in the chat and let me know how did it feel. So I'm not sure how you feel right now, but I feel it's cleared another 80%. Okay, let me know how you feel. Okay. This is one of the practices, the first step. We are clearing it first. Then the next step, we need to plant the new belief, new statement. So we don't have time to do that. But just clearing itself will help you to release 70 to 90%. So let me know how you feel. If you want to share, you can raise your hand. Okay. So looks like not everyone wants to share. So if you don't want to share in public, you can always write an email and let me know how it felt for you. So I always wanted to know how it works for everyone. Okay, thank you. Some of you said refreshing. Yeah. Yes. Okay, very good. Yes. If you feel that it's not working for you for the first time, it's perfectly normal, very normal. Because this is also your starting point, your door opening to another world that is not logical, another world that is non-linear. This is very normal because the healing work, so this is part of the healing work. The healing work we do, it is not logical. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes your body is not feeling anything. Sometimes you don't get it. And also you observe how you're treating it. Maybe your mind is trying to jump in to see what is it? Why is it working? Whether is it working? These are all very normal responses. Okay, so whatever you're feeling, okay, be okay with it. And then you can try one more time, another time, another time. Okay, so that's all for today. And there's no better things for me to do than sharing knowledge with you, than making, even if it's a tiny difference for you. And that's why that every Saturday, or not even every Saturday, every weekend, I always find either there's a coaching client or there's a teaching session I'll be doing, because that's how I enjoy my weekends, besides taking some time off. So it was really my pleasure to be sharing with you. And I hope that you take away with some very important, not only just knowledge, but also some important awakening, some important awareness. And before we go, thank you, Zoom user. So also share with me, what is the one thing that you take away with? Quickly share with me, what is the one thing you take away with? Okay. Okay. So if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay, thank you very much, Zoom user. The next time you can have a name instead of staying invisible. You want to be visible. Okay, thank you very much, Zoom user. Okay, how about the rest? What is your one biggest takeaway? Okay, so I suppose that some of you are still typing. And if you take away something else, also share with me afterwards through email. Okay, very good. Now aware of the real problem. Yes. Okay. Then that's all for today. I will not hold you back. So time now is 11:05 for me. And yes, connection to of the body to emotional pattern. Yes. So we have three intelligence centers: body, mind, and the heart. So in our society, we're all living in the head, the mind intelligence center. We are not in touch. For most of you are not in touch with the body and the heart. So that's what we're going to get in touch more with in the masterclass. Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for staying till the end. And I wish you a wonderful weekend. Stay in touch. If you are not connected with me on any social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, feel free to do so. Some of my clients, they follow me on Instagram. They said, I don't want to make you feel that I'm stalking you. No, you're not stalking me. So feel free to connect with me on social media as well. Okay, and I will end the recording and the session. Bye, everyone.